welcome to the Aftermath vodcast for the Armchair Gooner. After, that is the NLD, the North London defeat. I thought I'd sit outside and do this one for a bit of a change. Probably see the Arsenal shirt hanging in the moss in there. I've got a beer on the go, it's 6.6%. Joining my sorrows. Basically I'm doing, as you can tell, I'm just flanneling, trying to not talk about it, but I suppose we've got to at some point, haven't we? So here goes. What can you say? A little bit surprised at the starting lineup. Saka apparently was left out because he was, this amount of games, right? I get it. We're playing so many so many games in such a short space of time. We've got to keep the squad fresh. Got to keep it moving. We've got the FA Cup semi-final coming up. But the game to arrest him would have been the Liverpool game. I feel there's no point playing Liverpool for anything. We're not likely to get anything out of that game, even though they're starting now. And it doesn't mean as much as playing against Tottenham, especially when they were below us. And a win would have put them 4 points behind and really struggling. It would have put a bit of a dent in their confidence, playing against them in their home stadium. All right, no fans here, but to get a win under our belt in the first North London derby at the Toilet Bowl would have been a bit of a feather in the cap, really, in a otherwise mix and match season. But other than that, it was so it's understandable why you picked the team that you did pick. Personally, I still wouldn't play, if you're playing three centre halves, I wouldn't play Kolasinac at the back. Play him as a left winger, wing back, sure, why not? But he's not a third centre back, and I think he shows that every time he plays. But I thought, all that aside, the start of the game, Tottenham tried to come straight away. I think they were stung by the game beforehand against Bournemouth, and so they were trying to put a marker down and really sort of say, this is us, this is where we are, this is actually who we are, it's not the team you saw the other day. And we rode that out and scored an absolute belter from Lacazette, and I think on balance probably controlled the first half, except for that one moment from Kolasinac. The pass was shocking. Now lots of people are saying that David Luiz was at fault. Maybe he didn't turn as quick as he could, but once he had been sold the pup by Kolasinac, it was difficult for him to make the ground up. He was never the quickest of defenders, to be fair, was he? And then once Son got in, there's not much he could do. Does he bring him down and run the risk of getting sent off and having a free kick attempt at goal and us be 10 men for the rest of the game? Did he try and shepherd him wide, which I think is what he was trying to do? And let's have it right, it was a great finish by Son. He still had a lot to do, so it wasn't like it was, the commentator Martin Tyler, who kept saying, oh, he's been gifted a goal, he's been gifted. He hadn't been gifted a goal, he'd been gifted an opportunity to make a shot, but he still had a lot of work to do, to be fair to him. And then there was the Emi Martinez save from Davis, their fullback, who I thought both fullbacks for Spurs didn't cover themselves in glory. And I mean, Harry Kane was barely noticeable throughout the whole game, really. I mean, I think that's the quietest I've seen a fully fit Harry Kane in a North London derby. I don't think I've ever seen him that under par, and I don't know if that's because of the way he's playing or because of the way we were playing. And I actually think that Mustafi and Luiz had a good game of him, good match of him up until I would have said the second drinks break, really. But these games are they're not form based. They're really not. And they're turned on little things. I do think the drinks break, the second drinks break in the second half, I think that messed up our rhythm. And changing Saka at that point, there's an old adage about making substitutions at corners. You don't do it because normally that person's not quite with it in the game, and a goal will come because of that person's not up to speed yet. So changing Saka at that point might have been a bit odd. I do think that's where Mikel Arteta let himself down in the game, was he didn't spot that we were flagging. You've got 5 substitutes, you can change a couple earlier on, so why not do it? And I think Spurs changed their tactics. I thought they wanted to come out as fast first to show that they were hungry for it. Got back to 1-1, and I think Jose probably then said, we've got to draw, sit back. If you watch the second half, it wasn't until getting right towards the end when they started attacking, it was literally, you could see that the tactics were soak everything up. They're going to wear themselves out, they're going to punt. It's like rope-a-dope, it's like Rocky versus Clubber Lang. He ain't getting mad, he ain't getting tired, he's getting mad. And that's what Spurs were doing. They were soaking everything up, punch after punch after punch after punch, and then they climb off the ropes and land a knockout blow. And that's what it was. And all these people now having a go at Arteta, saying, his teams have conceded more goals than Unai Emery or whatever it was. He's lost more points, he hasn't conceded more goals. His team have lost more games than winning positions or whatever. If you genuinely can't understand and can't see that the difference that he's made at the club, I'm not sure that football's the game for you. Yes, all right, it might be a results-led industry for some, but I just personally just want to see the team care and put effort in and play the way that we know that they can play, and they've done that. They've got better under Arteta, and people saying, oh, he's just a disciplinarian, look at the way he's treating people, but it's working. It's actually working, and he needs time to get players like Pepe. I said at the time, like yesterday during the game, I was live messaging during the game, and I said, for a £72 million winger, he doesn't get his head up enough. And Sterling was a bit like that when he went from Liverpool to Man City. So that sort of thing can be coached into you. Shouldn't need to be at that. But he didn't set his price tag, did he? So there is a work in progress. I know. I'd rather still have Arteta as manager than Mourinho. I still think we're going forward. You look at the way Spurs played. The second half was a diabolical half of football for both teams, truly. And I think had we not have conceded the corner that led to the goal right at the end, I think if you'd have asked, I think everyone would have said draw was a fair result out of that. The Spurs didn't want to score a goal in the second half. They just soaked it all up, and they were going for a set piece goal. That's what they were looking for, and that's what they got. And Mustafi went to pieces, went to absolute pieces for some reason. And as soon as the second goal went in, he got worse and worse. His confidence just drained out again, and that's the problem you've got with him. And that's what he's got to try and that's what Arteta's got to try and get rid of. And he's doing it. He's doing his best. But it wasn't one of those performances where I didn't come away emotionally drained. I didn't come away wanting to throw stuff at the telly. It was just, we've lost. There have been times at Spurs ground where we've lost, and it's been a real nightmare. But that wasn't. I don't think that was the case on this one. And these players, as I said before, these players are players that even at some point, a lot of these players were playing under Arsene Wenger, and even he couldn't get a tune out of them. So to expect Arteta to come in and change the way we play and change the results with the same players that were there, that Unai Emery, let's be honest, they could barely pass to each other while Unai Emery was in charge. So at least these are the bits that are improving. Yeah, it's not great. Yes, it's a work in progress, but it is a work in progress, and it is getting better, and we can genuinely see that. Proper fans can genuinely see that. And calling for Arteta's head now is just pointless. It's ridiculous. What are you doing? Give him the time. At least give him a second transfer window next year, after January. If that doesn't work, then maybe you could say, all right, let's go. You've had, the December window barely, and whatnot. But this team has had 3 managers this season: Unai Emery, Ljungberg, and Arteta. The players haven't known where they're coming and going. They down tools for Unai Emery. They weren't sure about Ljungberg because he wasn't didn't have the right coaching badges, so of course he wasn't going to get the job anyway. And then Mikel Arteta comes in, and they seem to be responding to him. But he's trying to get players that other managers couldn't get a decent tune out of. He's trying to get a decent tune out of. And it's, you know, it's like trying to get the school orchestra to play like the London Philharmonic. It don't happen overnight, does it? And, you know, whether or not he's going to get his own players in, or the players that are going to come in via Kia Jarabshin and Edu and whatnot, you need to give him time to get his stamp on the team. Even Unai really didn't get his stamp on the team, apart from a couple of players here and there. And I think that's going to be that's where the real problem will lie, is whether or not managers can now get their team in, who they want. Because if it's being led from above, then it's just players that those guys have identified. But, you know, going back to it, in terms of this result, it's never nice losing to that lot, but at least it wasn't at the Emirates. It was at their ground. At least there was no one actually there to see it, so that was quite nice in terms of that. You know, and basically we got done by a set-piece goal, which you shouldn't get done by, but everyone does. I mean, you look at some of the results all the way through this season have been weird, so you know, I fully expect us to go and turn over Liverpool and Tottenham to lose their next one, because you just don't know. You just don't know. That is a joke, by the way. I can't see us turning over Liverpool. If he puts out any sort of a decent side against Liverpool with the FA Cup semi-final, the game after, I think that might be when you start to challenge him. There's no point, as I said earlier in the video, there's no point trying to go out and challenge Liverpool. Let them have whatever. Let them score points, score goals. That is one game now that literally means nothing, really. We've still got other games, two more games after that. So, you know, let's try and see if we can rock City and surprise them a little bit, and see if we can get into the FA Cup final. Probably, I would imagine, it'll be against Man United. That'll be another good final, won't it? But there we are. Just a short one, because what else could be said? A North London derby defeat that was completely against form. Anyway, thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe, and I will speak to you all after the Liverpool game, and hopefully live during the FA Cup semi-final. Cheers.